Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is John Schroeder. I'm a professor of atmospheric science at Texas Tech University. I'm also the senior director of the National Wind Institute. My career has almost exclusively been focused on making measurements from the atmosphere using radars, lidars, tower-based measurements, and other devices. I'll be offering insights today on our West Texas Mesonet, as well as some forecasting insights and making some recommendations on how we might improve our monitoring systems for this particular type of event. Next slide, please. A good project within my institute that has a first-order impact on situational awareness of weather is the West Texas Mesonet. It's a network of 168 high-quality weather stations that are distributed over the western part of the state. It was initiated over 25 years ago and has slowly grown over the years outward from Lubbock in just about every direction. It's truly been woven into the fabric of West Texas. Our team handles almost every aspect of the related workflow. We deploy and maintain the stations. We create, manage the IT systems. We generate custom products. We disseminate the data. We integrate outputs onto our website, cell phone application, and data feeds. Next slide, please. The user community is really diverse. Agriculture, energy, transportation, but we have maintained a strong focus on weather. And one of our major partners is the National Weather Service. Our measurements directly feed into NOAA via the National Mesonet program, but they also directly feed into the regional offices of the National Weather Service through our partnership in the local Weather Service office in Lubbock. Our measurements end up in the AWIP system, which is the National Weather Service's own system in their office. As mentioned previously, we've also sent data to other partners, such as the Texas Water Development Board, and take part in their network of network approach that was promoted earlier. Now, thinking about forecasting for an event. Forecasting in the 1 to 2 day ahead of time perspective really is handled by using two different types of information. One is the measurements themselves that gives you situational awareness of what's going on in the atmosphere and the atmospheric conditions. The other is using the numerical models that will assist you in making future predictions of what maybe the atmosphere might do in a few days. The same measurements that provide you situational awareness also are inputted into the model as it help provide the initial state for that model that gets marched forward in time. As an event gets closer to happening, or maybe is starting to happen, the measurements become exceedingly critical. In most cases, the warnings or the emergency communications that go out are going to be based on real-time understanding of the measurements, what's happening on the ground, what's the facts that are coming back that are available to the forecaster. Now, you might think that once we get to that point that modeling really doesn't play a role, but that's not really the case. Even in that case, the storm has already formed. Some of the best tools that have been produced by NOAA in the recent years is the Warn-On Forecast system. That system may actually produce better information once the storm is already produced. It has an advanced assimilation technique where it takes even things like radar data and ports it into the model. And then there's a high-resolution ensemble-based system that actually produces probabilistic output based on things like, what's that storm going to do in the next 6 hours? Is it going to die? Is it going to stall somewhere? Is it going to move off to the east, to the north? These sorts of things can yield probabilistic output that has real value, sort of like, hey, there's a 50% chance that the western part of this county is going to get 7 inches of rain in the next 6 hours. That's very actionable intel for a forecaster. It's exceedingly valuable. So even at that late time frame, numerical models can provide input. So in looking towards making recommendations, a sort of a comprehensive recommendation is probably what we would lean on. Let's go to slide 5. Yeah, thank you. So one of the things we've heard over and over again today is this idea of adding stations, adding ground truth, okay? Filling gaps in existing networks, whether that be rain gauge gaps or high quality Mesonet stations. The map that's shown there is from the region and includes the West Texas Mesonet stations and the high quality Texas Water Development Board stations. and there are still gaps, even in the hill country, that could be filled. And we've heard numerous times today the idea of filling rain gauge gaps and maybe strategically placing rain gauges in certain places upstream where creeks and streams are especially vulnerable. Next slide. But we would also recommend that you consider adding additional technology. Radar can be added to help map the rainfall. In particular, adding high-resolution radar at locations closer to the headwaters region and using low-level scanning techniques can really enhance our ability to pinpoint rainfall and occurrence, not only the location and intensity. Radar provides a spatially continuous coverage. That's advantageous. And when you merge high-resolution radar data with the ground-based truth underneath of it, with the rain gauges and the high-resolution weather stations, that provides the most effective way to monitor rainfall. It's actually the best tool we have in our toolkit. Next slide. The other recommendation we would make is that Texas consider setting up its own Texas Prediction Center. This would not be something that would replace NOAA. Rather, it would just complement NOAA's own national forecast models. In this particular case, we believe that it would focus on the 0 to 48 hour period. It should use high-resolution systems that can better model thunderstorms and more accurately produce rainfall intensities. At the same time, we believe it should use an ensemble approach, so it can capture uncertainty, highlight extremes, and provide probabilistic forecasts. You remember before, one of the things I said was this nice tool that NOAA has called the Warn on Forecast system. NOAA decides each day where to apply that system. It's applied on a subgrid across the country. And if they usually try to find places where there's going to be high impact weather to apply it. Well, if there happens to be a tornado outbreak focused for Iowa and a flooding event focused for Texas, there's a pretty decent chance that we would lose that fight. And I think one of the things that we should do is set up a Texas system and bring that Warn on Forecast system architecture over to that system so that we're never left out. We always have our forecasters have access to that level of information because it is really valuable from their perspective. So I've been talking a lot about forecasting in these systems and what they could provide. Obviously, the output can impact much more than just a forecaster. That output can impact weather warning systems. That output can impact how agencies prepare to respond to an event. That output can be handed downstream to someone who's going to model the hydrology. If we can provide a probabilistic output of the weather output and hand it to a hydrologist, they can provide probabilistic output for the stream. And so you can build upon these ideas downstream and build a better system. The fundamental idea here is we want to arm our forecasts and our decision makers with the best possible information we can, with the best possible tools to do their job. And we believe following through on recommendations like this would take a giant step forward to do that. Thank you.